Watch yourself, watch yourself. Watch your backs, folks, watch your backs. Make room for the emergency vehicles.
What the hell happened?
Warren left us open to trauma, so you're looking at the consequences.
Well, I was going to set up an additional triage tent, and then I was going to come up with some workarounds.
I was chief of staff at the Army Medical Command. This is not a workaround. This is a fireable offense. So if you get the urge to make another decision without consulting me, don't. This is Altman. Okay, go ahead.
Well, people get hurt, but fortunately we work at a hospital. So the action doesn't stay in the bodega where they were, where I sent them to get ice. Things travel back to the hospital and get worse, as you can imagine. I mean, you got a pregnant woman who hasn't told that many people that she's pregnant. You've got a young intern, and you've got a criminal. So who's taking it? Who's taking the hit? A robbery is the most random thing in the world, but Ben was told to shut down, for the heat domes. We're not taking any other patients. Ben thought he could handle it. Ben thought, I had a plan. He had a plan. He did have a plan, but Teddy didn't have faith. She didn't have faith. If she had faith, then the whole thing would have worked out. It would have gotten nice. Nobody would have gotten shot. It would have all been okay if you just followed Ben's plan, but people didn't follow Ben's plan. So now we've got shootings and robberies happening.
So basically, we just need to listen to Ben.
Just listen to Ben. If you listen to Ben, everything would be better and okay. For Jason, it's been fantastic because it's coming home, and it's a few of the faces are different, but the vibe is still the same family that I left and slipped right back in. It's like when you leave home to go to college or go out and start your life, but you come back like. Fortunately, they didn't turn my room into like the workout room. There's not clothes strewn over my bed. So I just jumped right back into it with everybody. For Ben, it's rougher. It's rougher. He comes back in because now look, you have the confidence that comes from running into burning buildings all the time. So you come back in, I know what I'm doing. But some things have changed, and so that shakes the confidence for a half second. You get over that hump, and then something else comes to shake your confidence, like a heat dome. Where you're put in charge, and she says, think like a first responder, and then tells you not to think like a first responder. So it's like, Teddy needs to make up her mind.
I was gonna say, Ben and Teddy kind of butting heads a little bit.
It has been funny, because the thing is, Kim Raver's one of my favorite people in the world. I adore her. And so we have these scenes, and she keeps hugging me. She goes, I'm yelling at you all the time. I go, yeah, but you're not wrong. You know what I mean? Ben has ideas about how he wants to get things done, and there's a first responder way, which I'm a military brat. I grew up in a Navy town, so I get that whole first responders are very much a military organization. There's a way to get things done. It's organized, and it's the right way, the wrong way, our way. Teddy is also military, but Teddy's been a doctor, not Ben's coming straight out of being a first responder, military atmosphere. She's far away from that and says, in this world, you got to do it this way. They have got to figure out how to do this work together thing. I mean, look, she spent the last few years worrying about whether or not he was going to make it home. Now she knows he's going to make it home. Now she's just worried if he's actually going to make it through the program. Confidence is a beautiful thing, except for when it's headed in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? So when Ben is convinced that he's right, he's the guy who's not going to stop. He will risk his life. He will risk his job to do what he thinks is right for the people he's trying to, if he thinks he can help somebody. And that's not always the best for a career advancement. When your spouse is the head of the training program, has been chief of the hospital, her colleagues, the people who are your direct bosses, it creates conflict because, it's not, look, Ben has been known to go rogue once or twice, and that tends to, that her, either she's the one looking at him going, what are you doing? Or her friends are looking at her going, you want to get your man, and she's like, I wish I could. I love that part. I hope we do. And I think there's more coming up. But I mean, they've got 3 kids now. And the annoying part is that, BJ, who plays Tuck on the show, was, like yay tall when he started. Now he's like 6'2" or 6'3", which is freaking annoying because when the kids now got you by a few inches. But Janae, who plays little Prue, is adorable, and she's just starting to get old enough, you know. And so like, I have a lot of fun when Ben plays, you know, Mr. Mom. You know, so I'd love to see a little bit more of that in the mix, just because that's fun for me. It changes the dynamic. That's the thing. I mean, you know, Ben had just was just starting to get to know her, and then, you know, there's an exit. So it's he's just starting to get to know this whole class of interns, and suddenly their group dynamic is changing, and so you know, Ben's just getting his legs back underneath him, and then they shift it all up on him again. So he's he's like, you know, there's a decision where you say, maybe I just don't get to know anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe I just hang back.
Well, I was gonna say, like, who of this sort of new intern class do you think he sort of sees himself in, or at least like sees like-mindedness?
Well, I tell you what, he and Blue is an interesting thing, because I love, Harry and I have known each other for years, and he's the greatest guy, and it's so much fun to play the competition there, even though Ben's like, Blue's in competition with everybody, and Ben's like, I'm not in competition with you, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I'm fourth year, you're first year, settle down. But I think Ben has both, not, like I said, he's not really in competition with him, but I think he can begrudgingly respect the fact that, okay, all right, you know, you go all out.
Yeah.
I dig that. Stay out of my way, but I dig that. I would love to see them all come back through. And the thing is, I'm actually going to see a bunch of them in a couple of weeks. We're just getting together for like, for drinks and that sort of thing. So we still hang out as a family. So I would love to see them all come back through. I feel like I'd love to see Danielle Savory come back through. I'd love to see Jay Hayden come back through. I think I can make excuses, and I've been pitching for like all these different storylines to get different Station 19 people to like show up. I think I lobbied for one of them to happen to be in the bodega where the robbery goes down. I've lobbied for all of it, or to be the paramedics to pick them up. I haven't won these fights yet, but I'm fighting the fight.
I was gonna say, you know, Karina's got to show up back at some point, and Maya, like
babies are getting born.
Yeah.
Babies are getting born. Somebody's got to get in there, you know. And so, yeah. And so, I mean, look, maybe when Joe finally, you know, if Joe finally, you know, carries this kid to term, maybe we can get a Karina, you know, the Marina mix, you know, can come back in.
And she's got twins.
Yeah. Trust, I know, because I have twins in real life.
First,
so when they wrote that in, I was like, I'll be your twin expert. I'll be your technical advisor on the twin tip. I'll come and explain to you how painful twins are.
I was gonna say, Grey's Anatommy's first set of twins, which is kind of a big feat when you think about like 21 seasons.
That is, we had somebody, I mean, granted not a series regular, but somebody had to come through here with like serious multiple births at some point in time. somebody Google that and let me know. Yeah, I do. I think that was an itch he needed to scratch to get out there, to be right at the scene of the problem, as close to, you know, if you can't be there when the person has their car crash, be there 2 minutes after they have their car crash. I think he's gotten that out of his system, and I think now because I think he finally started to hit a spot where, you know, we talked about it a lot. Meg Marinus, the showrunner of Grey's, and I, and also Peter Page and Zoanne Clack, who were the showrunners of Station 19. We had these conversations when we were trying to figure out where we're going to make this transition for Ben to come back. And I said, I think at some point in time, Ben's going to run a patient in and run them into the ER, and there's a line that he has to stop at that he's not used to. There's a line where if I were a doctor, I could see this patient all the way through to being healthy again. And that's going to bug him. Yeah. And so I think that's the part now. Ben's like, I need to get on the other side of that line. And that's why I think he came back, was let me get back in there and get you all the way back to walking upright again.